Welcome back to part 2 of the top 7 books to master your mindset, where each day we're breaking down one big actionable idea from one of the top 7 books that have genuinely changed the way we think and the way we live.
Today's book isn't just one of our favorites. It's one that Teddy Roosevelt, Kobe Bryant, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tim Ferriss, and even Kendrick Lamar all swear by.
Really? I didn't know that last one.
Yep.
Life is beautiful.
All right, so this book could have very easily taken the number 1 spot. Very, very easily. Which book are we talking about today, Nicholas?
We are talking about Meditations by the OG,
Marcus Aurelius. For those who don't know who Marcus Aurelius was, he was a Roman emperor who lived roughly 2,000 years ago. And this book, Meditations, isn't actually a book.
No.
Right? It's not a book that with like sections and chat. Well, it has sections, but it's not like he didn't sit down and try to write a book.
No, it was actually his personal journal that was recovered and put together into this little booklet now.
And I think that's why so many people love it, right? Because it's not prescriptive to you. He's not trying to teach you anything. You're just reading. You're just getting inside the mind of a guy who's giving himself advice.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it is that the life that he was living 2,000 years ago and the lessons he was giving himself still apply today.
Yeah.
Like none of them are not applicable.
The problems that he was facing are still problems we face today.
Exactly. But so his life, to give you a little perspective, this is the second reason why I think a lot of people like it, is because Marcus's perspective was a very unique one in general. So he was the king of the Roman Empire. He was known as the Philosopher King, and he was commanding the largest army in the world, one that at the time ruled over 2/3 of the entire geography of the planet, which is insane. And during his reign, he was pretty much at war the entire time. He dealt with a plague that killed millions of people. He was betrayed by one of his most trusted generals. He outlived many of his children.
Wasn't his son a douche too?
His son is a douche. That's what Gladiator is about.
Yeah.
But he outlived a lot of his children. So he's had many children die. Basically, he went through a lot of obstacles and suffering, even though he was this king of 2/3 of the planet. And every single night, he would retire into his tent and he would sit there and he'd open up his journal and he'd take his little feather pen and he'd write these notes to himself. And so the big idea that runs through basically every single page of the book is what?
I would say it's this concept that the Stoics called a dichotomy of control.
Agreed.
Which is basically saying focus on what you can control and forget the rest.
Yeah, the dichotomy of control is this ancient Stoic philosophical concept that basically states all of life fits into one of two buckets: things inside your control and things outside your control.
So, Mike, what's in our control? What's outside our control?
Inside your control is your thoughts, your actions, your effort, your attitude, your response
to ourselves.
Anything that you do.
Yep.
Your perspective and your actions.
Yep.
Everything else is outside of your control. So the circle of control is very tiny, very teeny tiny.
Yeah.
And the circle of things out of your control is infinite.
Yeah.
So the economy, other people's behavior, traffic, the weather, what your boss thinks of you, whether you get sick, whether the deal closes or not, these are all things that are out of your control.
I mean, think about how much is actually outside of our control. I feel like we don't think about this enough, but we are literally on a spinning fucking planet.
A spinning rock.
A spinning rock in the middle of space, like just rotating around this big ball of fire.
Yeah.
And at any moment in time, we have no idea what's happening outside there, but we're just, spinning around, around here.
It's so true.
Like we have it all figured out and we're all under control.
Yeah. So this guy dealt with a lot of adversity, right? Marcus. And he would just continuously remind himself every night about this dichotomy of control, that he can't control the fact that millions of people are dying from a plague under his reign. Like he can do his best to, fix this thing and
put policies in place.
Right. But he couldn't control the fact that people probably hated him. People probably thought he was a horrible general. So every night he would remind himself, this was an exact quote, and is one of my favorites. He would say, "Disturbance comes only from within. from our own perceptions. It doesn't hurt me unless I interpret its happening as harmful to me, and I can choose not to.
Yeah, basically, that's just summarizing that he has the power to choose the thoughts that he wants to live by, right?
Yeah.
The ones that he wants to make part of him, and the ones that he can discard thoughts that are just not useful to him.
Yeah, and I love that it's not like he's not thinking, okay, everything's all sunshine and rainbows.
No.
Like I can just, everything is good. No, that's not what he's saying. He's saying these bad things are happening, but I don't have power over the things outside of my control. And I'm not denying that the bad things are happening. But the only thing that I could do is control my attitude towards it. So that's what I'm going to do, right? He's just being the Stoics were very realistic. They're very rational human beings, and that's why I think so many people that consider themselves leaders are attracted to this philosophy.
Yep.
Because it's just so like matter of fact. It's
Yep.
like there's no bullshit to this thing. It's like, okay, this thing happened. What are you going to do about it? That's the only question that you really need to answer, right?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think another part of this book that I really loved, though, was the beginning chapters. So Marcus actually just takes a moment to write down every single person in his life and basically just writes down like one thing he's learned from them.
Yep.
And I love that practice, and I've tried it myself, and it really is a very empowering thing to do. So that's another little side tangent of why I like this book so much, but we'll go back
I
to
also like it because it's very short and like very easy to just like you could flip through a page whenever you're feeling anxious and just like read some of this guy's advice to himself, and within a few quotes you just like feel this sense of calm wash back over you because it just hits you like, yeah, you're right, that's the only thing I can do.
Yeah, I think it's really the ultimate book for leadership. And what it really does is if you are a leader, it's very easy for your ego to come to the forefront when you're leading a lot of people, when you're in the front of the room, when you're responsible for a lot. And this book, to me, just takes a pin and puts it in the balloon of the ego and just kind of brings you back down to earth.
I agree. Let's wrap this up with the call to action here.
What do you got for us, Mike?
I think the call to action should be a repeat call to action because you can never get enough reminders of this one. It's to use the golden question. The golden question being, how can I make the best of this?
Yeah.
Because that question forces you to enter that really tiny circle of what is in my control about this situation. It forces you to think about what can I do to make the best of this situation.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's just important to remind people of the opposite of that question, which is, why is this happening to me? Is the other end of the spectrum, which is everything out of your control.
That will get you to focus on the wrong side.
Exactly. So let's focus on the right side. The golden question. Love it. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Peace.